Hey, well, welcome everybody. I'm not sure if we have to do an introduction anymore, but I'm Paulus. I got with me as always Scorpio, and yeah, we're back again with I would want to say an X space, but it's an X broadcast this time with our characters. Um, so let's look at some of the achievements from the last few days. Our testnet had over 44,000 transactions so far, so that's really it's gearing up to be quite big. We had over 14,000 individual wallets claim deposit, which was pretty impressive as well, and over 46,000 people that claimed the staking rewards. So it's great to see that a lot of people are engaging with the testnet. Um, Additionally, as you might have seen on our social media post last week, we we actually have over 225,000 people in our community across all the social platforms, which is just mind blowing. Seeing we just started this really a month ago, working on this all together. So yeah, Scorpio, how do you feel about that? 225,000 people.
Yeah, I think it's amazing, right? It's we're building something really big for the community, for the projects, for actually the benefit of the cryptocurrency space as a whole. And yeah, just seeing that support of all the people that have joined, all the people that are engaging with us, that are joining these broadcast spaces, talking with each other in the Discord, it just gives me a very good feeling that we're on the right track. A lot of confirmation from a lot of people, and I think that's what we're doing it for. We're here to, reform. We're here to make the space a little bit better. And yeah, I think having the support of everyone and seeing the testnet usage and seeing the growth in the socials, that only is a great appreciation and yeah, a great token of our work, so to say, that we have been up to.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right then. Well, today we're gonna dive into a few things. As always, we do a quick general market update, see what happened in the space over the last few days. We'll do a little bit of an announcement around the testnet wave 3, which is going to go live very soon. And of course, we have our educational content, which is all about the revenue streams of reform. I think it's a very important one because people really need to understand, how everything revenue-wise works within reform for them to understand what a great opportunity this is. And then lastly, we'll do some of the Q&As from the community side. We asked some of our most loyal community members some questions. So yeah, let's dive into it. General market update. Scorpio, I think you have a feeling what I'm going to start this with, but Bitcoin, $52,000.
Yeah, it's man, it actually is higher than I expected it to go. I think it caught a lot of people off guard. I think this is also, a momentum in the space where still a lot of people are actually sidelined, where they're waiting for a retracement. But the question is, will they ever get it? At one point for sure, but that will most likely only be after the point that they already FOMO'd in. So yeah, Bitcoin over 50K is just delicious to see, of course, from a trading perspective, but also from a perspective of the growth of the space as a whole. And I think that's that's great. Seeing the appreciation of Bitcoin, seeing a lot of people actually celebrating and making actually life-changing money. And I think that's that crypto offers that opportunity, and especially if you know in what kind of projects to allocate yourselves into. But yeah, great news, great for the crypto space, great for the communities, great for the people, and yeah, so everyone happy, and I'm also happy.
Nice, nice, nice. I can imagine you are. All right. Well, another thing that I read earlier this week, which I thought was very interesting, because it's not something that I spent too much time on being aware about it, but there's only 10,000 blocks remaining until the Bitcoin halving.
Yeah, so of course, the crypto halving has always been a catalyst for an accelerated bull run. I think, now with the ETF already approved a few months before, and actually, yeah, the halving coming up with a lot of price appreciation in Bitcoin already, I would only think that it could be like buy the rumor, sell the news event, like or sell the facts, so to say, that the halving is really happening. But yeah, like I said, I didn't even expect it to go to 52K already, and yeah, you know, it will be a catalyst for an accelerated bull run. So maybe it can even go further. Who knows? I think it's it's a great market for now, and the halving will only enhance that, so to say. Of course, from a price appreciation point of view, but also of course from a scarcity point of view, where actually the bitcoins that are coming into circulation will be halved, so half of the inflation, which is of course very beneficial for the scarcity of the Bitcoin assets.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's spot on. I mean, I think it's great time now. It's interesting to see the price of Bitcoin, going so high. I always feel that in the recent years, a lot of the growth in pricing of Bitcoin, especially, has more to do with the rumors and the anticipation on something that's going to happen rather than what is actually happening. But let's see when the halving happens where we're going to go with the price of Bitcoin. Yeah, and to be honest, most of the news last week was just all about what's happening in the space with Bitcoin, and it's also that Bitcoin reclaims the $1 trillion market cap, which has been a long time that we have seen that. So that's another big one, I think.
Yeah, I think those kind of things all together, it just shows that the space is again picking up. It's growing. We're moving into the next cycle, which after the bear cycle, of course, with a lot of bad news, now actually becomes a real bull cycle with a lot of good news. And happy to be on board there. And I think especially with Reform, we have a very good timing perspective to launch actually the project, go into the market. Get in touch with the just freshly starting projects and doing the market making for them. And then, just making sure that we can really become one of the market leaders in this space with Reform.
Yeah. No, fully agree. And it's great indeed. I think the timing is perfect. So that was most of the general market update. It's just super bullish, Bitcoin to the moon. That's what everyone is talking about for the last few days. So yeah, let's dive into the next chapter, which is going to be a small one, but it's one that a lot of people have been waiting for. It's the launch of our Wave 3 of Testnet. It's going to happen very soon, guys. We can't tell you exactly when, but we assume it will happen later today. So just keep your eyes out in the Discord, on socials. We'll of course make an announcement when this happens. And everyone that replied to the tweet with and dropped their wallet, we tweeted that around 1.5 weeks ago, they get access to the third wave of Testnet. Additionally, one extra task will be added to the testnet, allowing the people that are already in the testnet plus all the new people to complete a total of 6 tasks in the testnet. And as you might know, when you complete all 6 of these, you will be eligible for the testnet airdrop, which is the Reform token airdrop, which comes obviously after the TGE. But make sure when you have access to the testnet, you get yourself eligible by completing all the tasks. And if you want to know more about this, jump into our Discord. Everyone there is super friendly and will want to help you, but also a lot of information is there. And as we have said already before, we are not telling you what the 6 tasks are. You have to find it out together with the community. So head into the community, talk with people, and you'll figure it out in no time. So then I wanted to dive into a post that we did earlier this week, yesterday, where we actually posted the Reform review stream on the Twitter. And I am not sure if we can bring the post up to the broadcast, but people have, they can see what post we're talking about. It was the post from yesterday where we explained the revenue stream. Scorpio, I just want to dive into it with you. Have you seen the post? I assume you did.
Of course, yeah. I've been very much involved with structuring, let's say, the ecosystem as a whole. So I think the post, to me comes really shows really familiar. I think it's one of the most important things of reform, so to say, of the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what would you like to go into for that?
Yeah, I would say let's start if you can, quickly just run us through someone who invests money, right? Money is being invested into the bonding treasury because that's the revenue stream that we showed. Basically, that full overview. Um, from the bonding, it gets diversified, actively traded in the engine, and the engine makes, et cetera, et cetera. You know the story better than me. I'm just saying what I see on the picture in front of me. It would be great if you can just quickly run us through that process so people understand this a little bit better before we dive into all the different aspects here.
Maybe I'm just trying to, let's say, bring it up to the screen if that's possible. 1 second.
Yeah, with Spaces, you can actually at least pin a tweet.
I
I'm
think
not sure if you
really,
can do that on a broadcast as well.
I'm not entirely sure. 1 second. No, I cannot drag it into the screen. So that's difficult. Okay, well, anyway, I will just recommend everyone to just visit our main page on Twitter, and then actually, scroll a little bit down to the circular economy is sustainable liquidity post. So there you actually see how the ecosystem of reform is actually structured in a very easy way. So what you've now all been doing is, of course, buying bonds in the bonding treasury, which is one of the activities you need to do, actions you need to do actually to have it checked, have the checkbox done, so to say. So what you see there is that the bonding is actually the starting point. So what you will what people need to do is like, okay, they're buying the bonds actually, and then it can be done within Ethereum, USDT, or USDC. And in exchange, they're actually buying locked reform tokens. Those locked reform tokens already make you eligible for the voting process of the DAO, but also make you eligible for staking. So it's not lost. It's like, you can get an extra discount on market price, ranging between 5 and 40%, and also with a locking period ranging between 1 and 5 years. So in between, there's like also 2, 3, and 4 years. But the core essence of it is that actually people can buy reform against a discount on market price through the bonding treasury, and actually provide liquidity with that for the high frequency trading and liquidity providing engine. So you actually see left top, you see the bonding, the Ethereum flows in and reform goes out, of course, to the people who actually buy it. And then actually, the liquidity that has been raised, the Ethereum, USDT, or USDC, flows into the engine. There we actually diversify, the basket that we have of Ethereum, USDT, and USDC, and we diversify that in the most liquid and volume, the highest volume traded pairs. This is actually super important because there we actually make use of all the volatilities and all the movements within the market due to the market making that we're actually doing on these exchanges. This also gives us benefits like the rebates because the volumes are substantially high. And it also actually makes sure that we can leverage our position towards the exchanges because they see that we're doing substantial amounts of volume. And then they will also most likely be happy because that's, of course, their key point to it. Then actually from the engine, we make realized profits. I think Paulus fell asleep real quick with his eyes closed.
No, I just figured out something on the tech side, so it's working better now.
Okay, that's nice.
But go ahead,
So
go ahead.
Paulus is optimizing his character. Anyway, from the engine, actually, we make the realized profits with an average. Well, as of now, it's being taken 20%, and of that 20%, 65% is flowing back to buying back reform, and then going back to the bonding treasury. Why we actually chose for this is because, it's super important to have in our case, a never-ending growth of liquidity. So what we do with those realized profits, we buy back reform, we put it in the bonding, and we put it up for sale again. we could have also chosen for a burning mechanism, buying back reform and then burning it, but then the growth aspect of the liquidity will actually not be there. So for now, we have it like this. Of course, it's always open for discussion with the community because it's a core element of the DAO, how it's working, and everything in that regard is actually up for votes and actually enhancements to make it better. In the case of the ecosystem. But for now, we use it as this. This is what we came up with, and this is actually what we think is going to make sure that the exponential growth of reform is going to be sustained, but also the liquidity is actually never ending with the growth. So yeah, that's actually that. I hope that gave a good idea on what it is and how it works. I hope next week we can actually, also bring the image into the broadcast, because then everyone can actually see it for themselves also, which is a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we can. But we have to integrate it in the system that we use in the backend. But that's doable for sure. And I always love when I ask you a question or a quick recap or a quick introduction to something, because you've basically answered 9 of my questions already. So that's good, I guess.
Sorry for that. The broadcast is
No. I'm just gonna ask them again. Don't worry about it. But one of the first things I wanted to dive into. So the money comes into the bonding treasury, and that comes from people that invest in the bonding treasury. So how does that work? If people want to invest, what's like how do they buy it? What's the agreements around that? Maybe you can dive a little bit into that more in detail.
Yeah, so like I just said, I think it's just important for everyone to see, okay, you can always buy a token on an exchange, right? What we have is an extra opportunity for people to actually buy it on chain, but actually buy it against a discount on the market price. Why do we do this? Because we can actually offset the discount that we're giving away with revenues that we're making with the algorithms and with the market making. So, in that regard, it's just super, for us, sustainable how we can grow that. But for the people itself, like in the core essence, it's going to be, you need to lock your liquidity for between 1 and 5 years, or your reform tokens will be locked between 1 and 5 years. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 years. And then you get a discount from 5% to 40%, but this is exponentially increasing. So, and that's also actually with the staking weight. So if you actually buy it for 5 years, your staking weight is exponentially higher than actually when it's locked in 1 year. So, like I said, if you buy it through the bonding, you actually get a discount on market price, which is, quite significant, which could be quite significant dependent on your lock. And then you also get, dependent on your locking period, will also get a higher staking weight or a lower staking weight, dependent on how long you lock it. So, that's that.
Yeah, no, that's super clear. And I think that's one of the more interesting things that we bring to the market as well, right? Because it's, as you said, buying the tokens on chain, but not from an exchange is quite cool. And especially because the tokens always remain in our ecosystem, as you said before. So just let me have a look on, because obviously you answered some of the questions already, and I don't want to ask too many double things. What's the benefit of having the bonding treasury? Well, you just explained that already. I think that most of the bonding is actually explained already. So that would mean we move forward to the engine.
Yeah, I think one
And
thing. I don't know if next week or the week after we're also going to dive into the market making side of things also. But I just want to explain. Yeah, I just want to say one thing actually in regards to that already, is that the core of reform is of course the high frequency trading and liquidity provision. And that's actually being done with the funds all raised through the bonding. So that will enhance the growth of the liquidity, but also the designated market making that we're going to do for projects. All the liquidity that's left after the service contracts has been fulfilled will also be added to the DAO treasury, and then again will be used to make realized profits. So it's not only actually the community and the people that are going to participate by buying the token and locking it for a discount, No, it's also all the deals that we're making with the projects, the designated market making, that's going to enhance, let's say, the growth of the liquidity within the DAO and in the DAO treasury to actually make more realized profits. Same with the rebates, same with arbitrage opportunities. Like all of those things together actually form the growth of the core. And yeah, like I always say, they're like the enhancers to actually make it grow exponentially instead of just let it grow by people actually buying the Reform token as a bond. No, we grow it also by the business development and the projects that we're onboarding, and not only by the people that are implementing liquidity. So I think that's a very important part. But yeah, of course, with the kickstart of the initial seed bonding, and then afterwards, the growth of the community to be able to invest, I think that will, it will cause a very cool effect whereby the liquidity will grow very fast, and then we actually can enhance that with the core team of Reform and also all the contributors itself to to at least make it grow even more. So just an
absolutely.
important FYI.
100%. And that's also just a little bit of a sneak peek for next week already, because that's when we really want to dive into the other revenue streams, because now we really want to dive into how the bonding works, how the money that gets invested by the people, gets into the project, how it runs through the engine. And obviously, as Scorpio just said, there's also the rebates, the arbitrage, the market making for designated projects, which also all drive revenue. And all of that will also go towards the engine. So let's move forward to the engine, because I think there's something very interesting, at least I find it very interesting, to explain how that exactly works. So with the engine, what do we exactly mean, Scorpio?
Yeah, so the engine is actually the heart of Reform, I would say. The engine is actually driven by algorithms. You should actually see it how I always represent it, like to make it more sort of visual for people. It's like, I represent it as a real like car engine, right? The car engine actually drives the whole car, and in our case, the ecosystem. But the engine needs fuel. The fuel is then coming in by, on the one side, the community that's buying the bonds, but on the other side, actually the designated market making and the rebates and the arbitrage, like I just mentioned, and just making sure that everything together actually, provides enough fuel to let the car drive. But in the end, we want the engine to grow. We want to make it bigger and better. So we first start, let's say, with a Kia. I'm just saying something. And we want to grow that towards, a full-blown Lamborghini, as we say here in the crypto land, of course. And just make it a proper car with a proper engine, with everything actually combined as a super strong, driver and a super strong ecosystem as a whole.
Absolutely, and whenever the return comes from the engine, right? Because the algorithms, the engine puts out some power for the car to move forward. I guess the example goes a little bit wrong, but it drives a profit. The engine. In the example we gave, we mentioned a 20% APR, so that's basically 20% profit in a year. Obviously, these things change all the time because we're always upgrading the algorithm, the market changed, the volume in the market changed. So we'll dive a little bit into that later. But actually, let's dive into that now. Is it what can we say with regards to the APR that the engine provides, basically?
So the engine is actually, in the core essence, is able to make APRs ranging between 5 and 25 till 30%. This is in a very conservative, let's say, manner, because we do not want to say that we can do thousands and thousands of percentages as a lot of other projects actually do, but only 1 second. I actually need to check because wait 1 second. I need to just get my charger for my laptop, otherwise it will die out.
Yeah,
1 second.
sure. All right, so we're just waiting for Scorpio to get back. So once again, if you're not entirely sure what we're talking about, we made a post yesterday on our X of Reformed Out where we showed you the main revenue stream of money going into the bonding treasury, how that's being used in the engine, and how the engine drives APR in that way is just basically the annual percentage rate, basically the total amount of additional money that's being made. Let's call it money, because obviously the engine trades always on tokens, right? So we never make necessarily more money. We make more tokens with whatever tokens we're trading with. And yeah, I was just asking Scorpio, and let us know when you're back with regards to the percentages of APR that are being made, which is obviously means that the percentage of profit, the realized profit that the engine is driving. We're just quickly waiting for him to be back to make sure that we can move
Yes, I'm
further on
here.
that. You're there,
I'm
yeah.
just I'm just checking out the broadcast. It's like a little bit laggy. I don't know if everyone has the same problem.
Yeah, we're a little bit behind. It's a technical thing. We're optimizing it as much as we can.
Yeah, I think it's maybe even the connection. Ah, I think you need to go live again. New. Because where is the page that you're broadcasting? This is the page I'm broadcasting. Yeah, but I mean on Twitter. Oh, that's over here. I need to check the also my computer is super laggy. So it's working. Do I need to play? Should be working. It's not working because my AirPods are in here.
Otherwise, quickly mute for a second, guys, and then we'll fix the solution.
Yes. Okay, I think it's working again. Yeah. Okay, are we back? Paulus, can you hear me? Yeah, I think it's working again.
A lot of people dropped out.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
It's working again.
All right. Are we back?
Yes, I think we are. Should be working again.
Okay, I don't see a lot of movement on the space or on the broadcast itself.
Me neither, but I think
I just want to make sure people are still able to hear us. It's back. It's buffering. Yeah.
I'm also this is super laggy. This is actually a small problem that you still have with the broadcast. The spaces are actually more optimized, but yeah.
Yeah, I figured it might also be that a lot of people have issues with loading, because it's of course requiring a lot more internet than just doing a tweet or like a space. Yeah, we can. I guess we can continue. It's either that or we move to the space. Actually, up to you, Scorpio.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see. Yeah, you can. There's no movement in the broadcast whatsoever. We do have it we do see it in our own environment, but yeah, in the broadcast you don't see it. So yeah. Otherwise, let's just cut it off for now and make sure to optimize it for next week. Maybe we can make next week a little bit longer, and make it actually a little bit more optimized for the moment, and then
Yeah.
actually continue from there. I think that would be the best solution.
Okay, let's do that. I think that's fine. I will if there's I will jump into the community if there's any issues. I'll pick that up and
Oh, actually,
potentially we can do.
I
Yeah,
think it's working again. Yeah, I'm just checking
is
now,
it
and
working?
I see that it's working. So we can continue. Okay, let's continue, and then go to the questions. So yeah, let's just start off again where we ended, which was actually like the annualized profit realized, so the APR. And that's actually being driven. The APR is actually created by the algorithms being able to make that percentage by actually making the use of the volatility within the market. So I think that's one of the core essence of what we're doing. We're optimizing our treasury. We're using our treasury to actually suffice for liquidity within the space, but also effectively trading it. Not ourselves, the algorithms are doing that, but I think that's a big difference than actually other DAOs or entities are doing it, because they're solely doing like treasury management by just allocating to some coins or tokens. A lot of times also just having their own token backing their treasury and then just selling that off on the market. We are sort of with a bonding treasury doing, well, a little bit the same, but what we're doing is we're selling it to people that actually are going to be our holders and going to be our community, and not just selling it on the market randomly. No, we're selling it to people in our community who want to have that longer dedication, want to become a holder of Reform, want to become someone that actually is going to contribute to the DAO. And that it's actually someone who is actually going to be involved. And then after that, with that liquidity, we're just going to diversify the treasury, which is of course strengthening the token, because we can make the realized profits and buy back Reform with it, and that's actually going to be the value that we're going to create for our community. So that's the APR in a nutshell, what we're doing and why we actually are doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things that always is so interesting to me is that all the realized profits that are driven by the engine, for a big chunk, 65% of those realized profit, we're going to be buying back Reform tokens from public exchanges and putting them back available for people to buy into the bonding treasury, right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Exactly. And what I think is so interesting, that means that whatever money flows into the engine, whether it's from the bonding treasury, whether it's from the market making, arbitrage, etc., the rebates, it always stays in the engine. The only thing that goes out of the engine is the profits that they make, right? The APR.
Exactly. Yeah. So the extra generated tokens / realized profits that are going to be deducted. So it's never going to be taking value of the DAO treasury. No, it's only taking, let's say, the profits on top that are going to be taken from whatever is in the DAO treasury. So that's, I think, the big plus. The bigger the treasury gets, the bigger the buybacks will become, because there's more liquidity to trade with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's just so interesting to see, because in the end, the engine can become so extremely big that, as you said, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Bugatti, whatever you want to call it, but it's just such a huge amount that is being used to realize profits, which also means that the 65% of realized profit that is going back into buying the token from the public exchanges is going to keep on growing. Nevertheless, it can never go down basically unless the APR goes down, but even if that goes down and the engine is bigger, it still balances out, right? So it's such a strong model if you really think about it. And it's definitely something.
The most important part to take in mind is that the DAO treasury can grow, will keep on growing in terms of tokens and in terms of coins, but it will actually not go down in tokens and coins. It could go down in dollar value or up. That's of course what we're aiming for. The more tokens, the more coins, also the more dollars in the end. But if the market turns southwards or whatsoever, then we also need to make sure that we can hedge ourselves and can protect ourselves with other algorithms like delta neutral. But this is all for the future. I think we're going ahead into a pretty nice market, as we already talked about in the introduction. And that's also what the algorithms are now optimized for.
Yeah. And I think one of the things, if you look at the, the general outlook of an economy, so to say, the chances that I don't assume our engine is going to be trading very small coins from very unknown project. It's probably going to be like, uh, I guess, a top 100 token, right? Um, or am I wrong here?
Yeah, so the engine is going to be running on those tokens for sure.
Yeah,
But of course, the designated market making that can also go into the more smaller tokens that are just launching. And
yeah,
whenever we have those left, yeah, then they will still be added to the DAO treasury.
yeah, exactly. And even though, because you just mentioned like the amount of tokens will always increase, but the price of the token might decline. But in general, if you look at an economy, on the long term, that never really is a big issue. It's always on the short term where those big changes happen, even in crypto. If you look in the last 10 years, what happens with token prices, uh, almost everything is way above where it was 10 years ago, right? So, um, especially the top tokens in the space. So it's just such a guarantee that in the long term, it's going to be a success, even if the value of the tokens goes down at some specific time. So
Yeah,
I
the
think
treasury,
that's yeah,
the treasury will always be there to, strengthen the token. And I think that's something really strong. Like, the treasury will never perish. It will never go completely away because it's diversified in the most strong cryptocurrencies that we have within the space that are actively being traded and that we can, generate the realized profits to buy back the token and to suffice for, growth.
yeah, and just from that angle, obviously we're 100% for transparency. We're a DAO. Would there ever be an option for the DAO members to vote against taking money out of the engine, for example?
So yeah, voted in the whole ecosystem can be voted upon. So I think
Mhm.
what we normally do is like, as of now, of course, the core needs to be created. So the core contributors are like really like me, we're really contributing to making the DAO a success and to actually, yeah, proposing the right things to the community for them to vote upon. But I think the more we grow and the more it becomes mature and the more serious people actually get in, they can actually also propose other things, other structures, to actually enhance the ecosystem or to make it better or even a little bit different, right? It could be it could be any form of shape, but in the end, yeah, the community needs to agree with it, and I think that's a super big a big point. That yeah, we should not be a self-destructive ecosystem or DAO, whereby the community is going to all vote for something, well, not so in the benefit of the DAO, so to say, because the DAO actually is the money of the people that hold the token. So in that sense, people will always have the best interest for what's being done or optimized or changed, because otherwise, yeah, their own value of their own token will, yeah, go lower. And I think that's not something that people are aiming for.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Okay, well, I think that was a good introduction, even though we had a little bit of a cutoff in the middle of some technical issues towards the revenue stream and the way how the reform engine is running. As mentioned, next week we'll dive more into the different revenue streams besides the money that goes into the bonding treasury and how that impacts the engine to make it even grow substantially more. Um, so let's move on to some of the questions from the community, Scorpio.
Yeah, sure.
Um, One of the questions we got is, why did Reform decide to join the Binance liquidity providing program?
Well, that's purely because the Binance liquidity providing program provides you with extra benefits. So of course, whenever you're trading on Binance, you have the VIP levels. You can actually get into more discounted layers, so to say, where you can enjoy better fees. But especially in the liquidity providing program, you need to provide substantial amounts of liquidity, like we're actually doing with Reform and other entities that we're running, and whereby you then can, actually get zero fees to pay, and even, the more you grow, get rebates from the exchange. So I think that's, something that we should aim for with Reform, to actually do that not only on one exchange, but do it actually on every exchange. So that's of course a growth path that we need to take. But yeah, we're actually very much working towards that. already connecting with multiple exchanges, KYCing multiple exchanges, and actually making sure that we're able to trade there. Then actually leveraging our algorithms there, making substantial amounts of volume, and then actually getting to those rebates level by the liquidity program. And I think that's already a very strong enhancer within the ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you also answered the other question that was asked around this, so that's great. Someone else asked, apart from Uniswap and Binance, will there be other platforms to add liquidity provision?
So
Yeah.
I think I think for diversification, it's always super important to spread it amongst different locations. So in this case, we're of course starting off with Binance and doing of course a liquidity pool with the token itself on Uniswap. But yeah, like I said, we're already KYCing and integrating different other platforms, especially also for the launch of Reform, but also for the designated market making that we're going to do for other projects. So then you need to be able to offer a variety or a range of exchanges, because otherwise, you cannot do market making for a project on one exchange when they're actually launched or live on 3 exchanges. Then they need to hire another market maker to do the other ones, and I think it's just more convenient for the project to have one market maker or 2 that can cover the whole everything, so to say, all the exchanges that are actually tradable on. And I think that's, for us, a key driver to connect to all the exchanges and to connect to all the decentralized exchanges, to be able to provide liquidity there ourselves, to grow into the rebate levels and the liquidity providing programs, but also to do the market making for the designated projects and be able to provide them this service.
Yeah. Another question came in, which is more on the community side, so I think I can answer that one. Is what are the benefits of the Diamond OG tier in Discord? They actually mentioned the benefit, and there's only one benefit to it. I'm not going to mention that because only the Diamond Plus people will be able to see that in our community. But the Diamond OG is really just something where we give something extra to our most loyal people. The OG role will also only be accessible until the TGE. So once that happens, nobody else can ever get the Diamond OG role anymore. So there's really only one main benefit of having the Diamond OG role. Any other benefits that will be added in the future, because a lot of benefits will be added along the way, will be added to the Diamond tier. And obviously the people that reach a Diamond OG will remain Diamond OG after the launch. And what that will mean in the future, we don't know yet, but obviously it can only be good for you to have something unique and a tier on your own. So definitely go and try and get that role. Let's see. Oh yeah, a lot of people asked about the airdrop. So when the TGE happens, right? People will be able to claim their airdrop on the dashboard.
Are you
Is that
asking me?
correct?
Oh yeah, so we're building an interface for everyone who will get an airdrop to actually be able to claim it over there. But that will be showed and disclosed in due time. So it will be an interface that people can actually interact with.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as Scorpio said, guys, just be patient. A lot of info is still coming in the coming weeks. Let's see. I'm just reading through these questions as well. Question is, from where have you taken the funds for liquidity generation? But I think I'm not sure if I understand that question correctly. Okay, wait. Let me have a look on some of the other questions that our community provided. I think that was everything for now, Scorpio.
Okay, well that's perfect. Then I think, yeah, let's do another round of questions. I think there are probably a lot by the community again after hearing this broadcast. And yeah, just sending in those questions once again for us to review and actually answer properly within the next broadcast of Reform, whereby yeah, you can enjoy us on the screen again and see us actually talk and move and have a connection instead of just just a profile picture.
Exactly. Okay. Well, guys, then let's round it up for today. Apologies for the technical issues that we had. Yeah, we have obviously tried to do something cool for you guys and be here live. We're working on fine tuning this, but we had a lot of fun, that's for sure.